Meanwhile, President Trump says he intends to meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin as soon as next week, but only if it's tied to a peace deal with Ukraine.
Alexandria Hoff is live at the White House with the latest for us. Hey, Alexandria.
Hey, good morning to you. This morning, the Kremlin is stating that preparations for this bilateral meeting are already underway, again, with that target date for this meeting being sometime next week. Now, they say a venue has been selected in principle and have been agreed upon. That's according to Putin aide Yuri Yushakov. Now, that venue is going to be kept under wraps for now. This sit-down request was prompted by President Putin, who made the ask during a meeting yesterday with Special Envoy Steve Witkoff, where great progress was made. Here's the president.
We had some very good talks with President Putin today, and there's a very good chance that we could be ending the round, ending the end of that road. That road was long and continues to be long, but there's a good chance that there will be a meeting very soon.
Now, back on July 28th, President Trump had given Vladimir Putin a revised 10 to 12-day deadline for a ceasefire in their continued assault on Ukraine. Now, 10 days was marked today. Secretary of State Marco Rubio told Fox Business he thinks there's an opportunity for the president to have a meeting that includes both President Putin and Zelensky to, quote, close this thing out. But it won't be without concessions.
If there's going to be a deal to end this war, it'll have to require the president to come in at the end and close on it. So obviously, anytime you're going to make a deal, there's going to have to be concessions. There's going to have to be concessions by the Russians and concessions by the Ukrainians, of course, as well. So that's tough.
Yeah, and the president is holding on to some skepticism as this potential meeting approaches. He has voiced frustration in dealing with President Putin in the last few weeks, and he said yesterday he has been disappointed before with this one. Guys.
All right.
Thanks, Alex.
Thanks, Alex.
So this is interesting because the president has been a fair broker. He's criticized Zelensky when he didn't think he was negotiating in good faith. And recently, he's really come down hard on Putin. He gave him 30 days, and now he brought it down to 10. And what the president continues to say is that Putin was stringing him along, that he would tell him he wants peace, wants to do a deal in the day, and by night, he was bombing and going after civilians. I would say that this is it. If Putin doesn't, if he takes this meeting with the president and a deal doesn't come, all hell is going to be brought down on him and his country from an economic standpoint, and he's going to be giving Zelensky every weapon that he's asking for.
The White House says that Russia was the one that wanted this meeting, and it sounds like Donald Trump is agreeing to it in the coming days, where this meeting will take place. The last time they met in the first administration, they met in Helsinki. And curious where they would meet. This one would be Switzerland. You
Maybe Qatar. Yeah, but we don't know. And in the Kremlin statement, they said, in principle, locations identified, but we have yet to find out the details. But let's be clear about one thing. President Trump goes in with meetings like this, with such high stakes, very clear-eyed about what the end goal is. And if Vladimir Putin doesn't understand that, and that end goal is the end of this war, then it is going to go south, as you mentioned, Lawrence, because you look at the steps already President Trump's taken, which is placing a 25% tariff on India. India is the second largest purchaser of Russian oil. He's going after Russia's war machine in how he's funding it. And we spoke with former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo a little earlier this morning, and he talked about, make no mistake, President's threat to ratchet things up is real. Watch.
We should make no mistake about it. The days ahead will be interesting because the new tariffs come into place, tariffs on those who are purchasing Russian oil, the very thing that's continued to fuel and fund Vladimir Putin's terror campaign against the Ukrainian civilians in Kyiv and all around that country. And second, we'll see if he continues to launch missiles there in the days that are ahead in the preparation for the meeting, and if it really comes off, if there really is a basis, which President Trump said is a condition. Look, I'm confident President Trump will continue to ratchet up the pressure. It's going to work if it's enforced, and I'm confident President Trump doesn't put sanctions in place without enforcing them. This was the failure of the Biden administration. For 4 years, we were told they put sanctions on Russia, and this was going to bring Putin to his knees, but they simply didn't enforce the rules. I think President Trump will.
Would be great if there were a trilateral meeting at some point where you had Zelensky and Putin, as long as it's safe, with Donald Trump to try to broker a ceasefire.
And that is a goal. So we may yet see that. And it's worth pointing out that President Trump just recently ended a conflict with Thailand and Cambodia. He's had other conflicts that he's brought to an end. And yet we'll see where this one goes. This one's a historic and big one.
Yeah, this could be one of two, Ainsley, by the way. You got Putin and the president meeting, and if everything goes well, it could be Putin, the president, as well as Zelensky as well for that big agreement.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.